Actually, let's lead there, Cart. Let's just go right to it. Michigan State scrimmaged Tennessee. And I would preface everything we're going to say in this episode and outside of this episode in regards to scrimmages, secret scrimmages, as don't take too much from these. It doesn't really matter that much because the format of these changes every single time there's a scrimmage. Half the time they're in like a random YMCA gym and they run like 4 minutes at a time and then they bring all the scrubs in. Like you just can't tell anything. If someone leaks you numbers and scores, you have no idea what the context is of those numbers and scores. However, we are here to overreact and we are here to break it down and try and be entertaining and draw conclusions. So we're going to play that game a little bit. But again, I preface this with don't take anything we're saying as if it's written in stone. Michigan State scrimmage, Tennessee. We heard from multiple sources who it kind of through the grapevine from people in the gym, passed to people, passed to us, told us it was highly competitive. It was structured very close to a real game, more so than most secret scrimmages are. The pictures that came out from Tennessee's basketball account sort of reinforced that. There was a scoreboard with a clock winding down from 20, two separate halves. Saw pictures of who was in the game from Michigan State. Looked like they had a lot of guys in the game. There was a picture at one point with Jackson Kohler and Carson Cooper on the floor together. Beyond that, it was a lot of the five starters. But all in all, Michigan State played Tennessee, who is a top 15 team in the country preseason. Very close. Michigan State had a lead in the second half. Tennessee won the game. And from there, we can draw conclusions on the little that we heard about a few particular individual players. But first, Cart, how do you feel about Michigan State playing Tennessee close in a secret scrimmage?
Oh, hang the banner. We're here. Hang the banner. We're definitely here. And to know that it was close to a game situation. Oh, we're here. They're sleeping on us. Nah. I'm like you with regards to secret scrimmages. I feel like it falls in that mold of like NBA summer league type things. Like if someone has a good performance, like you really use that, you run with that for your agenda. If it's playing bad, you kind of chalk it up to summer league. I feel like these scrimmages are the exact same. Like you said, they're not all game situations. Players rotate. It's some coaches treat it like a practice. So it's like, you're not going to play 15 guys in a real game a certain amount of minutes. Like it's not going to work like that. With that said, I'm on the train with you as far as being high on Tennessee coming into this season. I think they got a lot of older players that have done it. Been through a lot, and also guys I think could take leaps this year with guys like Zakai Ziegler still in the fold. Vescovi is still in college and a preseason first team All SEC guy, and that's a good backcourt test for our team. And we were in the game, so coming into this season with the non-conference, I'm not as confident in the team as I would like to be. So to hear that they hung with a really good team at this point of the year, with Jay Nakins kind of still in the air with his injury. I'll take that small win. So I'm kind of happy with it.
Vescovi is preseason all frosted tips, by the way. Great hair on that man.
Will you ever get frosted tips?
Maybe as a punishment in the Biggest Loser show or something like that. I think I could pull it off a little bit.
Be interesting.
It would definitely be interesting. Yeah, a couple more just notes from me from what I've been able to glean from people. We try to get a box score, and people do not want to share box scores from secret scrimmages.
But box score keeping is the next worst thing next to gatekeeping. Okay, let's just send out the box scores.
Just we're not gonna do shit. We're just gonna come on here and talk about it and read it word for word. But what I was able to get was some specific numbers on a few particular guys. And this has essentially been confirmed. I don't think anybody wants it out there, but Malik Hall had 25 points. He was very good. Mady Sissoko played 27 minutes at center. So, Izzo came out and said, essentially at media day, this guy's leading. He's going to be our starting center. No shit, 27 minutes. Haven't seen a Michigan State center play 27 minutes in forever. The problem is he had 1 point and 5 rebounds in those 27 minutes. He didn't foul out, though, in 27 minutes. That's a positive for Mady. And also, don't have numbers on this, but heard that Tyson Walker was good. So I guess if that jumps out, if there's a guy in the backcourt who looked good, it's Tyson Walker after scrimmage number 1. Like you said, no Jaden Akins. To summarize all of this, I think this is a very good result for Michigan State. If you would have told me that Mady Sissoko played 27 minutes, had 1.5 rebounds in this game, I would have thought Michigan State loses by 45 points. That didn't happen, especially without Akins. Like, you know how special I think he is. So to play this Tennessee team, who I think is very good, with essentially 8 guys and have a lead in the second half for most of it, or at least part of it, is a really good development for the floor of this Michigan State team. Maybe there isn't this floor of missing the tournament like I have projected. Maybe they're going to be all right. The thing I would play devil's advocate on is I would assume, without knowing this, I would assume that Tennessee did sort of empty the bench at one point. Michigan State doesn't have a bench to empty. Like maybe that's part of this. Like in a secret scrimmage of 40 minutes, like everyone is going to get run. The worst of Michigan State's roster would just be that Kohler Cooper lineup. I'm sure Trey Holloman was in there, but then like they're probably still having Tyson Walker and Pierre Brooks on the floor. And like that's going to be better than the 11th through 15th guys for most teams, simply because Michigan State doesn't have an 11th through 15th guy. I don't know if that played a factor here, but what I'm saying is like maybe in a real 40-minute game when both teams are only playing their top 8 and your starting center has 1.5 rebounds in 27 minutes, maybe it looks a little worse and there's a little more negative impact there. But how worried are you on Mady? Is it Mady or Maddie? I keep going back.
I'm pretty sure it's Mady.
I think it's Mady, but we say Maddie a lot.
Yeah, so big sis, big Sissoko,
big sis,
big Sissington. But this is one thing I will say, and this is kind of my devil's advocate point to it, is Tennessee is the type of team, though I'm high on, it's not the type of team that scares me as far as matchup wise. Like they don't have, unless I'm mistaken, I know they did have a 5-star center come in. I think it was Julian Phillips. Didn't really look at the Tennessee box score side of it on this side, but in any way, it's not a team with a dominant big or a dominant back to the basket kind of guy or a go-to guy with his back to the basket. So those are teams that I think Michigan State will, I think having Mady on the floor and other guys on the floor center, it won't be as glaring of an issue defensively if there's not a guy in the other team who can kind of expose that defensive deficiency. So, devil's advocate, I guess, that would be my point for it. But hey, all in all, we were in the game with Tennessee with Mady playing 27 minutes. Mady playing 27 minutes still scares me. I'm sorry, it just does. I got 3-minute sample sizes from all the games he played in the past 2 years of college basketball, and I didn't like any of the sample sizes. No good samples. So I guess we'll see. But we didn't get blown out. We could have used if you would have told me that Tennessee beat our ass and blew us out, I would have been like, well, I mean, yeah, I think Tennessee's actually good.
Yeah, I would have set the pregame line on this. I like Tennessee minus 10.5, make it double digits. So
yeah, probably something like that. Also, if Boo Buie was on Michigan State, we would have heard about him having a good scrimmage. Did we hear about AJ Hogarth having a good scrimmage?
We did not, just for the record. You said it, not me. Look, Tennessee does have a 7'1" center. I'm going to botch the pronunciation, but Uros Plavsic.
But he's not a back to the basket guy, really. To me,
you got to be when you're 7'1", but he's not a scorer. He's not a scorer. He was a big part of their team last year. Like he was their second guy. He came on and off the floor with the other bigs they actually had last year. But other than him, it's a bunch of like 6'8" forward-ish types. I think all in all, I think it's a great sign that Michigan State played well and was in a game with Tennessee with their starting center being that non-productive. It's a massive red flag that the center was that non-productive. And look, you guys know Tom Izzo. Anybody listening to this knows Tom Izzo. When has he ever played a center 27 minutes? Like, you know how happy we would have been if he just played Marcus Bingham 27 minutes?
Coach Stevens is gone. He handled the big rotation.
Apparently so, but the problem is like I've been screaming just play Bingham more minutes for 2 years now. I'm not screaming play Mady more minutes.
Well, can we say this, G? Because you mentioned this already. He didn't foul out. 5 rebounds is not really getting it done for me, but
Or
I'm not
no,
expecting him.
let's not spin this. It's empty. Like it's just empty.
No, I would like to spin it.
You heard the voice note that I heard from someone who got reliable information on how Mady looked that would be unbiased in this spot. And the answer was laughably bad. And the flipping that though, the other voice note we heard was Michigan State was really good. So like both things can be true, but like, God, imagine if they just went and got a starting center card, or imagine if the bigger red flag here, more than anything, it's not that Mady's bad. We knew Mady's bad. You've been saying that for years. You don't think Mady knows how to play basketball? Like, Big Sis does not know how to play basketball. The bigger red flag here is Jackson Kohler card, because there was a lot of gas on that kid 6 months ago. It went silent in the summer, and now Mady has to play 27 empty minutes. Like, what is he looking like right now? Because we're not hearing a thing on Jackson Kohler, and that's really
well. Coach Izzo mentioned that he was coming along a little slower, a little slower.
You know how bad that is?
Huh?
You know how bad that is for Tom Izzo to come
out and say, it's catastrophic.
Yeah, like,
but we'll be all right.
When has Izzo ever done that, man?
We'll be all right.
Will we?
I think so.
Will the center spot be all right? The team will be all right. Will the center?
I think we'll find a way.
Find a way against the Zach Edey's and the Hunter Dickinsons and the Trace Jackson Davises of the world.
Yep.
Find a way. Okay.
I'm not afraid of Trace Jackson Davis.
You want to elaborate on that quickly?
Way too many Miller Cop TikTok involvement for him this summer.
Understood.
He don't want it.
Understood. Well, I think you're in danger of many more 27-minute 1.5 rebound performances, but if that means 7-point losses to top 15 teams, I guess you take that, right?
Hang the banner.
Hang the banner.